과장님 대해서 알고 있지 이분.
우인태에 대해서
인테오.
인태오에
같이
대해서.
오세요.
싫어.
왜요? 어차피 비디오 안 나오잖아.
말도 못하는데. 뭐 자기인 줄 알고 아니야?
비디오 열어야 될 것 같아. 죄송합니다. 비디오가 왜 안 되나? 앞으로 오세요. 네. 인사해야죠 그래요. 매일 주고 받았는데. 녹음하고 계세요?
녹화를 하게. 해놨어. 녹화 기능 여기에. 녹화 기능이
있을 텐데.
있나?
이걸로 하시면.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I stepped away for a second. I didn't expect everyone to arrive so early.
Oh, it's our pleasure to talk to you. So we came early.
Wonderful. I'm Brian.
Oh, this is Chloe and
인태.
Inte, it's
Yeah.
great to meet you. After exchanging these emails, and Chloe, it's so nice to meet you as well.
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
My colleague, Catherine, will be joining us in just a few moments, so we should, be expecting her in a few minutes.
Okay, sure.
Is there anyone else that's going to be joining from your team?
No, it's just two of us.
Okay, great.
Great.
So you're at the start of your day.
Yes.
It's always kind of a bit of a trip to be holding a meeting in two separate days.
Yeah, it is.
We're the reason I don't have a mask on. We're all calling from separate locations. So
Oh.
I'm actually calling from my parents' home, which is in
Oh.
the Midwest of the United States, where I'm visiting them at the moment.
Oh, that's wonderful. We're always like wearing a mask when we work.
Yeah. How long have you been back in your office?
We, like we started our day from like 56 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, was there a period of time where you were not able to go into your office due to the pandemic?
No, not at all. We just all came to the office, even though there was like a bit of like a pandemic.
I think that's probably a sign of Korea having handled the pandemic much better than
We hope so.
than in the United States. Yeah, it's not been handled so well, unfortunately, here.
Hope everything's fine there.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Sounds great.
So I know, I think we first spoke through the website, through our website itself, but I mean, we perhaps don't want to go into too much depth about the council before Kat joins us, because I know we'll want to be discussing that with her. But I'd be curious to hear anything that you've heard about it so far, and kind of your initial learnings about the council.
Actually, Inte got introduced this council from the Visa Korea, and we heard that Visa CEO is in Guardians right now. So we thought it would be our honor if we can just join the Guardians, like our CEO of Shinhan Card or CEO of Shinhan Financial Group.
Sure. And could you explain a little bit more the relationship between the two organizations?
You mean the Visa and Shinhan?
No, the financial group and the Shinhan Card.
Actually, Shinhan Card is a subsidiary of Shinhan Financial Group. We have around 16 subsidiaries, and Shinhan Card is the second biggest subsidiary of Shinhan Financial Group.
Okay.
Yes, since Shinan Card is a company of multi-finance and credit card, we have a strong relationship with Visa Korea, and it was Visa Korea who introduced us to your council.
We're so pleased to hear that.
Yes.
How long have both of you worked with Shinan Financial Group?
언제 들었죠 우리? 모르겠다. 입사기 저인데.
Yeah, it has.
한 20주년?
No, it has been like 20 years, I guess.
Each of you individually has worked with the company for 20 years.
Oh no, me, like 7,
Yeah.
like 7 years, and
10.
he
Okay.
like 10 years. He's like my senior.
Okay.
Yes.
So you both have been there for quite some time.
Yes, it is.
That's wonderful.
So how long have you been working with the council?
Kat?
Hi.
I have been with the council for actually about 3 weeks.
3
So
weeks.
I'm a newbie, and Kat just a little bit
Oh.
longer than me.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
For me, it's a little over 3 months, but the council generally is, at its core, very new. Even our CEO only started in the fall.
Oh.
So we had our global launch happened on December 8th. And prior to that, we just had a very small core team working as far as the nonprofit goes. But the concept and our guardians, our general leadership, have been working on it for a few years. By going to the Vatican, working with the Pope and the Dicastery on conversations around how to get this started, and then after a lot of back and forth, they kind of landed with what we're now doing. So
Oh.
yeah, that kind of gives it. We are very, very new, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
And I should do some quick introductions because
Yes.
we just joined a few minutes early. But this is Chloe, and this is
Hi.
Inte, and then Kat is our director of engagement and outreach, and I'm the manager of engagement and
Okay.
outreach. So we work with organizations like yours to build out this community of people that are committed to this vision of inclusive capitalism. And Kat, Chloe, and Inte were just telling me that they learned about the council through Visa Korea.
Oh, great.
Yes.
And Visa being one of our guardians, that's how they first kind of learned about what we're doing, and were kind enough to reach out and ask how they could get involved.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so, it's interesting, just a little background about myself. I've spent the greater half of the last 10 years working at the World Economic Forum. And so it's interesting for us to now be, from usually hanging out with the Davos crowd to taking that Davos crowd and sort of opening the tent to a wider audience to have the conversation around inclusive capitalism. And in doing so, we really are including everybody. And so, for the council, when it was formed, the guardians such as Visa, which is really fantastic, they are serving to be the steering committee and helping to set the agenda for what we will do this year. But our greater community consists of everything from our stewards, which are companies and CEOs really leading those companies of sizes as large as multinationals like Ayala in the Philippines and Amundi in France.
Oh, like Ayala from the Philippines.
Yes.
Okay.
So, very large companies like that to mid-cap and smaller, what we often call mom and pop companies, where we have, a small company in Mexico with 2 or 3 employees, or somebody in Florida or in Germany who's really only a few people, but they want to do more around inclusive capitalism, whether it's making their company a bit more green, or creating a more diverse workforce, or having better 401ks, something, whatever it is, they're curious to get more involved. And then we also have our allies, which are other nonprofits and foundations and international organizations that work in this space all the time. And of course, have individuals, which are like our global citizens, the folks that are not actually tied to a specific organization, but want to be leaders in their own community and find different ways to help strengthen the community around inclusive capitalism ideas. So we have already, since the launch, which was on December 8th, had about 1,300 individuals and some organizations come together, which is really, and sign up on the website without any prompting, which is really kind of an impressive thing. I think most folks, the calling to this, especially with COVID, has been much stronger than in years past. So it's very interesting for us to watch that progression. But I got kicked off and started running already because I didn't hear who you guys were. So I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no. It was a very good description of your council. Thank you so much for that.
Okay. So are you guys only in Korea? Forgive me for not having better researched. Are you outside of Korea as well? What is your organization's bandwidth, let's say?
Okay, so we actually, Inke and I are working in Shinhan Card. And Shinhan Card is a subsidiary of Shinhan Financial Group. And definitely we are multinational company since we have like more than hundreds of, we have branches and offices around the world. And yes, so Shinhan Card is a subsidiary of Shinhan Financial Group. And we are actually doing the business of multi-finance, such as credit card and installment and stuffs. And we have around 2,500 employees.
Yep.
Yeah, so we got introduced of your council from the Visa Korea because since we have a strong relationship with them. So we wonder whether Shinhan Card CEO can be the guardians of your council, or if he's not good enough, not good enough, but like if he's not, he's since the CEO of Shinhan Card, we wondered whether the CEO of Shinhan Financial Group can be the guardians of your council. So we need to know what are the requirements for being the guardians in your council.
Got it.
It is my understanding.
Brian, did you?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Yep. Please go ahead.
So it is my understanding that guardians and stewards are the supporters of your council. And then guardians are guardians are more of the big company's CEO who set the agendas for your council. And then stewards are more of small companies CEO who are doing more ESG stuffs, more green, like putting more green and eco-friendly agendas to their company. Is that correct?
It's a little bit that way. So I think a better way to look at it would be, because as I said, I mean, Ayala is a steward, right? They're not a guardian. And we have many other very large stewards that are in the process, right? So that to be a steward is really the difference between two things. Our guardians are paying members. Yes, they pay $100,000 for the year, and that money goes towards our overhead as the nonprofit, so it helps to pay our salaries.
Right? That's right. Yeah.
And so so the guardians, they do help to set the agenda. That is correct. And they are our steering committee. So right now there's the 27 that you'll see on the website, but at no point will there ever be more than 40. So we are actually going to be taking on some new guardians, and it is very possible that we can make that happen. We'll have to see. So that is something that we are trying to diversify regionally and gender-wise. So the fact that you guys are Korean-based is super helpful because we don't have enough Asian representation just yet.
Yes.
And then the difference, again, going back to the stewards, so the stewards don't pay because we want to make sure that the smaller companies can join, but they will also, have input towards working groups. The ESG factor applies to everyone, though.
I
so
see.
Guardians pay have to make their formal commitments and show that they are ready to make certain like lasting change. Now, what that is, it doesn't necessarily have to be environmental or have to be around gender. It can be if it, something having to do with a financial market system. That's totally possible and fine, and it could even be around certain types of technologies as long as it fits within our 4 pillars that we follow and our ESG models for utilizing SDGs as tools. So that's something that it applies to the Guardians as well. And for us, the other big thing that happens, so throughout the course of the year, we have 2 meetings with the Vatican right now that are virtual, right? So the Dicastry meet with us in sort of June, July-ish, and then December. We had just had one in December. That is with the Guardians, but we will have the stewards join in the next one. They may not be as vocal, but they'll be there. And then in 2022, our plan is to have our first in-person meeting, which will be a 3-day conference in Rome, which will have several, it'll have over 1,000 participants, and it'll sort of be a premier learning for inclusive capitalism. We'll have tons of experts and working groups, speakers, sharing best practice, and challenging one another to make stronger commitments and kind of rise to the top model of how we can really do more as a collective. So that's another kind of big milestone. But in addition to all of that, we are in the process of creating an interactive portal, which I very jokingly tell people is the my dating app for ESGs and SDGs. So we're getting everyone in the community to kind of interact and come together and see how one another could help. So if, let's say, there is an ally working on something in the Congo, and there's a steward that could help that's doing something in Latin America, and they can find each other. Or let's say we have a lot of really wonderful volunteers that have come forward that are UN consultants and focus in the like SDG 5, and they said like, I will help anyone who needs assistance with understanding how to better have gender equality and work streams for that. Or if you want to understand better how to do things with water, we have water experts. I mean, all of this. So it's kind of a mapping for you to find members of the community that can get you over to the next realm of understanding and workflow process for your organization.
Oh, I see. So in case our company is being selected as Guardians, is there any annual or regular meetings or actions that he needs to perform?
Yes, so the 2 meetings with the Vatican, which, like I said, for now are still just virtual. And then there are working group sessions, so there'll be some type of work stream that they'll get that he would be asked to join.
Yes.
Around one of these bigger issues. So this year we're looking a lot at stuff that involves COVID reform, stuff that involves clean energy, some stuff that has to do with diversity and equity in greater organizational work streams. So as we refine what those work streams will be next month at our co-chair meeting, we'll have that announced on what those work streams are be, and then you don't have to pick all of them, but one of them would be something that your CEO and organization would work towards.
Oh, I see.
Guardians and stewards and really all members of the council are also asked to play an active role in recruiting new members to join the community as well.
Excuse me. So it is my understanding that since Miss Catherine said that there is no Asian group joining the council for now, so there must be no Korean company at the moment joining this council, right? Is that correct?
Correct. Hitachi reached out, but we haven't yet had our call. And
Hitachi from Japan. Hitachi from Japan.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, That just shows you how limited we are right now in Asia.
Uh,
Because I have not yet done my research, and it's pretty late. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
But for us, we really do want to have a better presence in Asia, and so if you guys were to come on board, we would love help with that and figuring out the best way to go about, whether it's through various press moments. We do have other, like we have some Southeast Asian companies, but there's a PR firm called Red Hill that they're in Singapore, and they've joined as a steward. And like we said, Ayala and stuff, and we have like one or two in India that have talked to us, but in Asia proper, we have not actually. And part of that, I think, has to do with the fact that we haven't done like a marketing ploy or like gotten into it. It's a lot for us as a very small team to go continent by continent, but it's something that we're trying to do. So, so that kind of guidance and help would be a true ask for any guardian that would join us.
Okay, so my company is Shinhan Card, and our mother company is Shinhan Financial Group. So which must be appropriate for us to join for the guardian? Is it like Shinhan Card or Shinhan Financial Group, like the bigger like mother company?
Yeah. So technically, you could probably do both. But not, like if for Shinhan Financial Group, let's just say hypothetically that they became a guardian, Shinhan Card could then, of course, still be a steward, and we could work on that together. Now, is it something where one of the CEOs is more keen or interested to be more interactive? Then that's something that I would look for you guys for guidance on who you'd prefer or what makes sense. I mean, is one more than the other more involved, or tell me how they are when it comes to joining and being involved in these types of associations.
I see. Like for at the moment, like both of the CEOs, they are highly interested to joining this council. So I think, it's our job and you, Miss Catherine, to like us for negotiating who to join to be the guardians and who to join to be the stewards. And and I think we are like highly willing to pay for the like annual fee.
Sure.
So in case of that, can we join for the guardians? And in the case of we processing to be the guardians, can we fail to be the guardians?
Can you fail?
Yeah.
Well, sure. You'd have to set your commitments. Now, the commitments don't have to be something that you don't. Let's say you've already for this year created some commitments around any of the ESG models. You don't have to create new ones. You can actually use the ones you've already put forth for the year. In some countries, it's actually illegal for you to make new commitments on someone else's website. You have to do them somewhere in your own, PR kind of experience or on one of your own websites. So for us, we don't require you to create something new just for us. We just want to know that your goal for 2021, or you're dedicated that between now and 2025, you're going to set a new standard on how your organization does a thing. That's okay. Our team actually has people that are dedicated to helping guide you on how to make commitments, how to set the commitments. So you're not doing it completely alone. We're here to help with all of that.
Oh, thank you.
But I mean, really, as long as you're paying the fee and you make the commitment, then you're not going to fail. We want you to be a part of these work streams. But if if there's a scheduling issue and you can't make a certain meeting, it's not failed. It would just be very, very unfortunate, and we would do everything we could to make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, I mean, if you were not able to meet your commitment in the timeline that you said, then that would require a later evaluation. But to say that you fell, I don't know, Brian, that seems yeah.
This is as we've said, this is a new initiative. We're all working together, so we're all on the same team. So it's not so much about us recruiting and accepting guardians and stewards and then giving them a grade on how they're doing. Once you join, you're part of the organization as well. So we're all collectively working toward these goals.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the metrics that we're using are varied, right? So there are several different metric standard setters right now in the world, as you might know. And actually, I think we've come up with already 18. There's so many different, whether it be accounting organizations or the OECD or the WBCSD or the IBC, they all have their own set. And we have not yet committed to one form or another on those standards, because as a means to keeping with the sort of idea of being inclusive, we know that each different region has a different way of monitoring stuff. And so we're not trying to say it has to be done this way. What we were trying to say is, do you want to try to do better? And do you want to try to keep yourself accountable to doing better? If so, then make these commitments with us and we can work with how you're doing it. Taking it from, utilizing the Vatican and Pope Francis as a bit of a help, we have a kind of joke that we say, all saints had a past and all sinners have a future. And so we really believe that, we want to even take for the brown companies that want to turn green on energy and climate, or companies that they maybe haven't had the best track record in the past, but they do really want to make a change in the future. We do want to work with them. Now,
I see.
If there are sanctions, or if a company has major lawsuit because of something very egregious, then that's a different story. But if it's something where, okay, that's understandable, you didn't do that as well before, but we can make it better, then we want to talk to them.
Okay, sure. I think it's very good, since Shinhan Financial Group and Shinhan Card has very high interest in ESG and changes, like making changes to the social society and to the world widely. So I think we can be the greatest, like we can be the good member for your guardians and the council. We wonder whether if we can become the guardians, can we be posted in the website as well?
Oh yes, as a guardian and as a steward. So you would most certainly be posted onto we want that. We would absolutely like that. So for us, for the guardianship, we have to have a committee that votes. So we'll take this information back to the team, and we will let you know what they say as far as the guardianship. To sign up as a steward, that process we could do today, and then you could actually start to put up commitments and be put on the website. So there are currently stewards that are starting to populate. There's only a few that we've put on so far, but we've actually had over 200 sign up. It's just a question of folks getting their commitments together. Which is why you'll see they'll become a very wide range of the size of what those stewards will be.
Yeah.
But yes, and for the guardians, as soon as the invitation goes out and they are approved, then yes, we will get you on the website right away.
Okay, so there will be no problem for us to advertise that we became the guardians within the Korean market, Korean press.
Absolutely.
Or stewards.
Or stewards, yes.
We had a press release that went out today about some of our newer stewards. And for Ayala, there's a big Filipino press release that will have gone out today or this morning, I guess.
Okay.
Or yesterday.
I have one more question. Yes. Since the council is in charge of have a strong relationship with the Vatican, does our CEO have to have a relationship with the religion? No?
No.
Oh.
So we are not a religious organization. We work with the Vatican, but not for the Vatican. They are not our boss. They are a partner in wanting to get more companies and society on board to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
We actually plan to work with many other religions. So if you had other religious groups that you wanted to introduce us to, we would love that. That would be a fantastic thing, especially for each different country and society and culture. We want to be related to those religious outlets, and also no religious outlet. Like, you could be an atheist, and that's totally cool too.
I see.
But for us, I mean, if there was a religious leader in your country that you felt would really be on board and want to join us, we would love that introduction as well, because they could be an ally and be a speaker at stuff that we do. We're in addition to those mandatory meetings I told you about, we're going to have webinars and series and speaker events. So if you had someone that you wanted to interview or someone that you wanted to partner with in Korea, and we could create a whole series and show for us to share and get it in, speaking Korean, we put it in English or Spanish subtitles, and then we share it with the rest of the community. Like, there are a lot of options. So that would be wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So let us go back to the team and talk about the guardianship. If your team decides, I mean, we can't have both CEOs. So if you know for sure which CEO would you rather as a guardian versus a steward, or you'd rather us make that decision, if you know who's going to be the steward, you can sign them up right away. Like, we can start that process and get them on the website. So you can talk amongst yourself to decide that, and or leave it up to us to see if we have a preference. But for right now, I mean, if you guys have a stronger feeling, we'd go with your recommendation. So.
Okay. So if both CEOs are willing to pay for the fee, can they both be the guardians? No?
No. Yeah.
Since we're in the same group. Okay, I see.
I think it is important to point out that stewards shouldn't be seen as a lesser form of guardian. There are different distinctions. So guardians, as Kat said, are like our steering committee, but they're also, we haven't set terms or anything like that, but they will be a somewhat rotating group in that, CEOs will eventually step down. Several of our guardians are planning to leave this year, so we'll be having to fill their spots. We'll only have a maximum of 40 at a time. So we would hope, even if this moment isn't the right one for Shinhan Financial Group or Shinhan Card to become a guardian, that doesn't mean that it's never something that will happen. But stewards are a really important part of the council's mission. And in your initial question, I think you would ask whether the stewards are just smaller companies. As Kat was pointing out with Ayala, stewards are big multinational corporations down to very small bodegas, mom and pop shops. So it's just important that stewards are not sort of guardian light. They're important
I see.
as well.
Yes. Okay.
So if you have any other questions, we're here, and otherwise we can come back pretty soon and have another conversation maybe next week.
Okay, sure.
But for us, really, please send us emails anytime, and we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and conversation. We'll talk to you soon next year.
Thank you very much, Chloe and Kay.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Pleasure meeting. Cheers.
내가 알 거라고 자꾸 나를 보면서 끄덕이지 말라고. 야, 내가 알 거라고 자꾸 끄덕이지 말라고.
미국 애들은 원래 항상 다 안다고 하니까.
아 그래?
네, 미국 애들 원래 다 그래요, 사실. 그래서 해보긴 해봐야 될 것 같은데 누가 가디언스가 될지는 저희한테 정해서 하라고 하니까.
둘 다 되는 것도 가능한 거 아니야?
근데 뭐 가디언에는 한 명밖에 안 될 것 같고
자기 생각에?
네, 그 금융이 CEO가 되면은 이 사람을 가디언하고 우리 신한카드 사장님을 스튜어드로
근데 가디언스는 될 수 있다는.
될 수 있대요. 지금 현재 27명이 있는데
네,
40명 이상까지는 안 할 모집이고 현재 한국 기업, 에이시안 기업이 하나도 없대요. 그래서 한국 에이시안 기업을 되게 모집하고 자기네도 희망하고 있기 때문에
그럼 만약에
있다고
신한카드
하고.
CEO가 그냥 가디언스하고 그룹을 뺄 수도 있는 거네?
그쵸. 근데 그 리스트 보면 급이 좀
그러니까.
그룹 CEO가 될 것 같긴
그렇게는 안
해.
될 것 같아.
안 하실 것 같아 사장님.
그리고 네 그렇게 돼 있고
이건 $1,000, 이건 $1,000라고 한 거야?
네 이거 다시 한번 금액 확인해봐야 되는데 1년에
너무 적은 거 아니에요?
뭐 이 정도에서 뭐 만불일 수도 있는데 그거 확인해봐야 제가 듣기로는 이거였는데 다시 한번 확인해봐야 될 것 같긴 해요.
손불이 아니라 그거 아니었어요?
얼마였어?
10,000라고 했던 거.
10,000?
뭐 100,000라고 하지 않았어요?
100,000이요?
이제 놓고 해놨으니까
10만
다시
불인데
한번.
네 다시 들어오면 될 것 같고
10만 불이면 1억?
1억.
그 정도는 뭐 그 정도는 상식적이죠.
그런가?
그랬던 거였던 것 같긴
1,000불은
한데.
좀.
제가 잘못 들은 것 같아. 제가 잘못 들은 것 같고
오케이.
현재 뭐 일본의 히타치
히타치가 들어가 있다.
그것도 얘기를 했는데 사인업은 아직 안 했대요. 그리고 싱가포르의 레드힐 이런 데도 뭐 했는데 아직 뭐 오프라인 한 건 아니고.
아까 내가 궁금했던 게 이거 게시한다고 했고 그 1년에 2번씩 가야 된다는 거지.
근데 그래서 그 세션 뭐 대화해야 되는 그런 게 있대요.
그러니까.
근데 이건 온라인으로 왠지 대체하는 것 같거든요, 제 생각에 지금. 코로나
근데 그게 본인이 직접 그러니까 나는 이제 사장님이
네.
회장님은 영어 하시나?
아 통역 붙어야죠 옆에.
그냥
붙어서
붙는
같이
게
살면
가능하나? 근데 약간 그
되죠.
멤버들이 다
미국인이야.
미국인이어서 통역이 아예 없을 것 같다는 분위기가 좀 약간
그래도
그게
뭐
좀
붙이면
신경
되죠.
쓰이더라고.
영신이니까.
뭐 붙여야지.
네, 그렇게 해서 되고.
에이지니까.
뭐 사인업 할 거면 의사 어떻게 해서 빨리 보여주면 될 것 같다라고 하는데 이 사람들이 말하는 거 굉장히 약간 베이그한데 이제 너네 그룹에 뭐 2021년, 2025년 뭐 골이나 뭐
꼴이
이런
있죠,
스탠다드
뭐
다 있잖아요. 저희 뭐
다
ESG,
있죠.
뭐
네.
클라이밋
ESG 다
체인지
있어,
뭐
사실.
이런 거 있으면 그런 자료 잘 보여주면 되고 너네 이제 그런 커미트먼트 너네가 그 얼마큼 우리에 헌신할 수 있는지랑 돈만 있으면 된다.
아니 어떤 식으로 커미트먼트를 하라는 거야?
뭐 회의 참여하고
이거는 뭐 당연히 하는
회의
건데.
참여하고 이거 자료 같은 거 내고 돈 내라는 거죠.
우선
네.
회의는 무조건 참여해야 된다. 의무적인 거야? 아니면
뭐 여러 개가 있는데 그 중에서 한 개만 참여하면 된다고 하던데
여러 개 회의가 있는데
그
그중에
중에서
한 개만.
골라서 참여하면 되고
그 뭐 페일은 거의 없다라는 그런 거죠. 자기가 다 도와준다는 거 아니에요?
네
심사 탈락이라는 게 거의.
거의 없다고는 하는데
음.
네 하고 미국 애들 말을 믿을 수가 없어.
이거 문제 없다고 한 거고 이것도
네.
문제 없다고 한 거고.
네 홍보해도 되고 종교 없어도 된다.
근데 얘네가 하는 게 뭐예요, 근데 그거는 모르는 거죠.
얘네 이거요? 그래서 이거는 메일로 달라고 해야 될 것 같아요. 얘네
얘네가 언제 정확하게 출범한 거야?
그거 안 물어봤어요.
안 물어봤어?
네.
그 본격적으로
물어볼
한
것
게.
그래서 자기네들 현대 가디언 일본 생각 같고 제가 보기 솔직히 말해서 이거는 약간 큰 회사 같고 여긴 작은 회사 같아요. 그래서 필리핀에 뭐 가장 큰 뭐 아엘라라는 그룹이 있는데 거기도 지금 스튜어드에 들어가 있다고 하더라고요.
왜 그러는 거야? 자기네들이 돈이 없어서 그런 거 아닐 텐데.
모르겠네. 돈을 안 냈대. 얘네는 돈을 안 냈나 보다. 얘네만 돈 내고.
그럼 스튜어드는 뭐 이렇게 회의하는 게 없고 그런 거예요?
여기도 있긴 있대요.
스튜어드도 있고.
네.
가디언스도 있고.
네.
근데 뭐 틀리겠죠 프로그램이.
네,
걔네들은.
그래서 뭐 보니까 얘네는 뭐 이렇게 뭔가 커미티의 아젠다 같은 거를 세팅하고 뭐
네,
그런
데이스트로
애들이고
홈페이지.
얘네는 자기네 기업 자체적으로 좀 더 뭔가 그런 ESG나 그린, 뭐 클라이밋 뭐 이런 거 활동하는 거를 목표로 삼는 애들이다. 이런.
일단 그럼 가능하다는 거네.
우선 베스트는 지금 얘네 말로는 지주가 가디언스가 되고 신한카드 스튜어드가 되는 거를 은근히 바라는 거 아니야?
그걸 그렇게 제시는 하긴 했죠 저쪽에서.
그치,
그건 니네가 정해라라고 했는데
정해라는 옵션이